Hi, I'm coming to you all sweaty and worked up after my time with Stasia, who's our guest this week. And no, it's not from the episode we recorded, it's from me taking her class. She records these badass workouts that I heard about from my friend Reagan. You all know Reagan. She's my co host on the sister podcast, Unfiltered Universe. And she was like, it's so much fun. She did stand up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wait, someone that did stand up? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, she swears. And she just reminds you that you're fucking hot and that workouts are boring and they suck, but then you get to be fucking hot. And I was like, oh, well, I like all of that. So had her on the show. Great time. You'll see we step right into conversation. I'm not even going to edit it, like jump in with us as we do. And then it came time for this episode to air, and I was like, I better do some of her workouts. And I'm like, kind of stationed at my parents' house right now in kind of the boonies of Pennsylvania, and the workouts are just kind of not it, like the local studios. So I was like, all right, it's time. I got to do the thing. So I signed up for the package that is called Get Your Ass to Class. And I did 2 classes so far. The first was a Slutty Ballerina. And then just now I did PMS Rage. Great. Here's what I'll say. I think I took the first one on Monday. Today is Thursday because my calves were so freaking sore after the first class. I was like, there's no way I can get my ass back to class. So I had to take a little breather. I did do some hot yoga in between. So yay, kudos for me. But I essentially ignored the freaking package that I signed up for. What was also interesting, and let me tell you, these are legit workouts, right? They're inspiring. She's got like that blend of no bullshit, but then she like throws in these like Abraham Hicks kind of vibes. It's, real legit, full body fitness, tighten your pussy and your ass kind of workouts. And then within that, like you're entertained, which we love. So legit, did the first class, was really angry after. I don't know if it's just because of what we did. We're doing a lot of inner thigh stuff. So I'm pretty sure I triggered something from within, right? So I was like really bitter and angry, but then I felt good. But then, the next day I felt really freaking sore. And then I just did this one and I liked PMS Rage a little bit better. The workout was a little bit more to my fancy and I don't feel angry. I just feel good and excited to eat some food after this. So check her out. Check out her program. It's called School of Thought and it's THOT. If you love that blend of fitness, don't want to get to the gym, want someone to be real with you, no one's going to sugarcoat it. Like working out can suck. It can be boring. It can be like, ooh, not feel so great. It can be struggle bus, but it gets you results physically, mentally, emotionally, all that good stuff. And she has a really great community. I adored seeing so many people on the, I did not do it live. I just did the replays and so many like lovely, delightful people on there. So it's great. I highly recommend you check it out, but like get a feel for her, get her vibe with this episode. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. Danielle Mercury. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Is for I was like, I think I want to move to Austin, but like I'm not doing the whole sign a lease, all the things. So put my stuff in storage, been here for the spring. But like, yeah, I don't think people realize the beauty of Airbnb. You don't have to worry about unpacking. Like you rearrange some things, and like make it your own. So and then you can just go be in the city. You're not waiting for a couch to be delivered or like any of that stuff.
I know.
And like you don't even have to pay for toilet paper. It's like it's all
I know.
there.
It's very freeing. At first I was like, because I gave up, I was renting like the house of my dreams in Venice Beach and I gave that up to come here. And then I had a house here, and then long story, drama, whatever, signed a lease with the man, which I'll only ever now have leases in my own name. Um, and now I'm like Airbnb life. And I thought I was going to be like, so, cause I'm a Taurus and I just like love stability. I'm a total homebody.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, I'm still a homebody. I'm just like a nomadic homebody. And it's like weirdly so freeing.
Right? It's the best feeling.
I'm like, I don't need to worry about the power bill, the this, that, nothing. I'm just coming and going. So I'm into it right now. I'm into it.
I am too. And like, and if you do it on a monthly basis, it's not that much more expensive than paying your rent.
Well, definitely not in Greece. It's in Venice Beach, it's a nightmare, but in Greece, it's like it's incredible. I'm like, yeah. So I'm really into the idea of not having to buy furniture again for a long time.
That's how I am too. I really like I sold most of my stuff. I also was like getting away from a dude, you know, so it's just like let's just start
Freedom.
freedom. Yeah. So okay, so you're in an Airbnb in Greece right now?
Yeah, I'm in Athens. I'm in a neighborhood that I've lived a long time. Well, not a long time, but I've lived in Greece for a while, or I go back and forth, but I've never lived in this neighborhood, and I'm in like a strange neighborhood I've never been in. And it's like, it's like the Airbnb I booked just for the balcony because the balcony is sick and the Airbnb is fine. But then I was like, usually I stay right next to the Acropolis. And I'm like probably half an hour away. And so I took, okay, there my lights went out. Is it okay without my light?
Yeah. We mainly do this for an audio.
Okay. And then I was walking my dog around and I'm like, oh, I'm in like Bulgaria. I'm like, this is not where I'm meant to be. But also it's kind of fun because like I had when you're booking something from like another country, you're like, close enough, that looks good, and then you get there and you're like, oh, this is not at all close to where I thought I was going to be.
Now I know why this is such a good deal.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm like, oh, this is why it was so cheap.
It's fine. How long are you going to be there for?
Just a month, and then I'll find somewhere else.
Right. No, I feel you. I mean, I'm here for like 2 more weeks, and then my parents are actually going to be in Italy, so I'm going to go head that way.
Nice. Are you Italian?
I am.
Where are they in Italy?
So mainly so my Italian side is split between like Naples, more southern Sicily.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have some family up near Venice.
My sister lives in Tuscany, just southern Tuscany, like just 2 hours north of Rome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Italy's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Italy.
Go to Italy.
Stay in Italy. Find an Italian man. Marry him. Get your permanent residence visa.
But if you're going to do it, wait until October of 2025 because I'm hosting a retreat there then.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Where?
Tuscany. It's a Tuscan retreat. I know.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah. So we're putting it out there now for everybody. But also you can go ahead of time, meet your dude, and then
Yeah.
I'd be so happy. Love that. Okay, yay. So wait, you have your doggy with you too?
I do. He's an intercontinental dog. Yeah, I found his head transport. He's tough. He's like he's 90 pounds. He's like a killer. And he travels really well. And I didn't realize I was, I'm just sort of winging everything, but I just cannot. The more time I spend abroad, then when I go back to LA, I'm like, I don't know. I love it for like a few weeks, and then I'm like, okay, I'm sick of being poisoned.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
I mean, that's how I feel like any city in our country.
Yeah,
love hate relationship.
I know because I was here for like 8 months straight. When I came back to LA, I was like, I wonder if I'm going to feel a difference. Like, probably not. I'm just being like so, overly sensitive. And that, yeah, exactly. And then I got back to LA and I'm like, everything's itching. I'm like, I completely felt the difference. Like, I felt stressed right away. Like, I felt like, oh my God, I got to go buy this. I need this. I need this. I need to buy this. And I was like, Jesus, like it just goes away when when I'm in Greece, it's like, well, first of all, Like there's no Amazon Prime, you know? So like,
Especially where
if
you
want
are.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Greece. You're like,
Yeah. I'm like in Moldova right now. It's what it feels like. But it's like if you want something, you have to go get it. And if they don't have it, you don't get it. And that's it. It's like living 30 years ago. And it's like so refreshing to not have everything at your fingertips right away. And then I appreciate it when I'm in LA. I'm like, oh, wow, I'll just order this one thing to be delivered in an hour. Okay, that's crazy.
yeah.
But it's nice to have a break from that and to not feel like, oh my God, I have to buy all these things to like be the best version of myself. It's like, no, you don't. you
I
know?
get that. I felt that when I lived in LA. So I did 2 rounds of LA. I did once nomadic and I loved LA nomadic. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love it. I'm gonna move here. So I moved to like Hermosa Beach, that area.
Oh, that's cool.
It was, but then
Coolish. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like where you are now. Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I was able to get why I chose that area because I was able to get a place like right on the water. So like that was really
Yeah.
great, and I did my little beach walks. But then
Yeah.
I just felt like, yeah, I was just stressed all the time. I felt like I couldn't manage my life there. And then
Yeah.
I was, and I'm not even like a competitive person. I don't have imposter syndrome. Like I don't have time for
Yeah.
that. I'm Leo.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
get my
Yeah.
Leo stuff. And I just felt like there was always something to do, always someone to compare myself to,
Yeah.
like always someone else that was like ahead of me. And I just found myself constantly stressed. And I was like,
Yeah. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. I mean, and I'm a homebody everywhere I go, but for some reason in LA, I just constantly am feeling like nothing I'm doing is enough or,
right.
or like, and then when I'm here, it's like I sleep. Well, it's great being 10 hours ahead of LA because I'll just sleep in with no alarm. And like at first I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm like so lazy. I'm like sleeping 9 hours a night. Like, am I okay? And and then it's like everyone here, there's no shame around sleep or rest here. It's like, yeah, sleep, like siga, slowly, like chill. And now I'm just like, no, actually, I'm so much healthier here. Like my nervous system is so much more settled here because it's like you can rest without feeling bad about resting, you know?
Right. Because rest is literally our bodies chose it as part of its design. So
Rest is productive, but when you're in LA, it's like, oh my God, like I shouldn't be sleeping more than like 6 hours a night. Otherwise I'm like fucking something up, and it's like,
why didn't you
so it's
wake up
just
at
nice.
5 a.m. and do your
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Self-care is like stressful in LA. It's like,
self-care is so stressful now.
I'm like,
My body hated me. I gained weight when I lived in LA. I put on like 15 pounds, and I think it was because of the stress of self-care and the guilt of like I felt guilty for taking a day off, or I felt guilty for
yeah,
just watching TV.
yeah, yeah,
And I think my body was like feeling that. And like when
yeah,
I feel pressure, like, yeah, my body responds. And it was like, yeah, it was wonky. So
yeah. So I'm really just appreciating being here. I'm like, everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I weirdly feel like safer here. Like, well, yeah, I mean, in LA, it's like there's one night last month when I was there were like, I thought it was fire. I was like, for sure it's fireworks. Someone's just setting off fireworks because it's like a Tuesday night, whatever they celebrating. But like, for sure, fireworks is not gunshot. That's crazy. No, come to find out, it was 20 gunshots. Some guy who like works in a restaurant went out to the parking lot and shot off an AK-47, some machine gun, some automatic weapon, 20 gunshots. It was like all over the news. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I couldn't fall asleep because there were 20 automatic weapon gunshots. Like, that's insane. So, and in Marina Del Rey, it's like a nice area.
ask where, yeah. And you're paying extra to live.
Yeah, and my Airbnb was $6,000, and I'm hearing of automatic gunfire. I mean, that's like, I'm like, this place is just, it's too much. I'm like, eggs are $12. I'm good. It's insane.
It's a lot. But then at the same time, like, don't be wrong. If I were to get on an airplane and go there next week, I'd be like, I'm having the best time ever.
Oh yeah, and trust me, I'm going to go back in a couple months because I need to get my hormones checked. You can't do that shit here. There's plenty of things in LA that I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful that I have access to both, and I know I'm so lucky that I like have the ability to be in both places. But yeah, for me, it's like I can't be like long term there, and I can't really be long term. I need both, you know.
I
I
feel the
can't be like
same way.
full villager, and I can't be full LA girl, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've lived in a lot. Like I lived in New York, LA, Philly. Now I'm in Austin. So I can't. I tried doing like mountain life, and I loved it for what it was. And now that I'm here, though, I'm kind of missing the mountains again. And I think I've just accepted that. No
I
place will
know,
ever check all these boxes.
I know.
And can I just find that hybrid of life?
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, when I'm here, I miss LA. And when I'm in LA, I miss here. And it's like so annoying, you know, and I try to just like appreciate where I am when I'm there because,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's what it is.
Sweet. Did you just have a birthday, or are you gonna have a birthday?
I did. April 24th was my birthday.
Happy belated.
41. Thanks. Thank
41.
you.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
41 in August.
Hell yeah, dude. It's good so far.
Yeah, oh, the first 10 days of making it like
Great.
I was cool with turning 40. I was
I was too.
yeah, but then I was like, oh, and I even like being like, I'm 40. I look at me, new decade. But
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm adding a one to that.
Yeah, 41 was less exciting than 40, but I mean, I honestly like I am getting hotter, better, stronger, funnier, richer. I mean, it's like it's better. It's better. The older we get, it's better. It can be, you know. So I'm trying not, and plus, you know, 40 for us is not the same as it was for our parents. You know what I mean? Like we take so much better care of ourselves and we have all the, you know,
Yeah.
who knows, by the time we're 50, they'll have some concoction we can take to reverse.
Can't wait until I can look like I'm 7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just Benjamin Button
My
it.
brows will be like full again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is really interesting. I mean, I also love like looking at like when they show like this is the cast of Cheers who were literally like in
I
their
know.
30s. And I'm
I
like,
know.
what? Can you imagine if they came up on like a dating app like Norm?
No, I know. Like the Golden Girls are like not that much older than us and they look like great grandmothers. It's insane. It's just the bad haircut. It's like we're just wearing our hair long now.
We're wearing our hair long. I think that's part of it. Making us better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hair
Botox.
I also, all the things. I also feel like in a weird way, I think filters have like tricked us into thinking we do look like that, and so then we're kind of morphing a little bit, like outside of the
100%. I'm like so young. It's like not what in real life.
Yeah, totally. I do a filter, and I'm like, I am rocking it in this way,
Yeah.
and then like
Pretty soon we're just gonna have filters on our eyes whenever the Neuralink comes out anyway. So.
true. Yeah, once we put in like we'll just have a contact lens that we wear, and then everyone's just filter. Oh my gosh, I wonder if that would probably help with like the world of hooking up and whatnot. Like, what if there was a dude?
Yeah,
like
you just have beer goggles.
oh my god, virtual beer goggles.
That's a great idea. Actually, that's a great idea for a business in the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down. I'm really into AI, so like maybe that'll be my big thing.
I mean, yeah, everyone would get that.
Everyone would get that. I mean, I guess it would increase the population again.
Yeah, people would start having babies again.
Yeah.
Genius, Danielle. You need to like patent that now.
Virtual beer goggles. I mean, think about it though, because how many times have you been on a date with someone? You're like, they're really great, X, Y, and Z. They're good on paper, but like,
too bad I'd never fuck him. Yeah,
but then
I know.
put a filter on it.
I know. It's those hot guys really fuck us up. You
I
know.
know they really do. The ones with nothing to offer except their looks. This is the antidote. Do you struggle with only being attracted to hot, broke, unavailable men?
And like the beta version is like glitching and not working, and you're just like, fuck.
Like in the middle of sex, like they
Yeah, you're like, I can't finish.
Quick doggy style. We need to
yeah.
something. Please. Your real colors are showing, and I'm gonna lose my.
Your real face is showing. Jesus.
You're scaring my vagina. So we need to switch this up. All right, on it. I'll keep you posted. You can be an angel investor.
Okay, great.
I love it. Okay, so
You're in Austin. You got Elon right there.
I do. I mean, he's not the greatest to look at.
No, he's doing fine.
I mean, he's doing fine. So, I mean, I think that's what some women do, right? Like the beer goggles is the money, right? It's like, okay, if they have enough wealth, that makes up for their looks, but I still can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been able to do that, unfortunately for me.
You know what? Okay, and I know that you're like you've had your journey with sobriety, and I'm not fully sober now, but I did go through periods where I was. And my rock bottom, and the reason why I chose to get help, this was like 15 years ago, was I had this one night stand. I woke up in the morning, and this man was so wildly unattractive. And I remember thinking that he was attractive the night before, and I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was more than
I need help. You're like, I need help.
but I remember waking up and being like, yeah, I need help. God, I'm ready. I'm ready. Like I realized that you had to send me a wildly short, bald, unattractive man that kind of smelled to make me realize I need to put this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I brought a homeless man home before, so I'm with you. I mean, and I didn't really. He was so hot. This guy was so hot and like musical, and like we had like a magical night. And then the next morning, and he didn't sleep over, but then he was trying to, and I was like, no, go.
Yeah.
And later I found out because he didn't have a fucking house, but.
Mm.
I was walking on the boardwalk to get coffee in the morning, and he was literally on the side of the boardwalk, like asking for change. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, you really wanted to sleep over. Like,
Yeah.
like
I literally was
hated to sleep over. Yeah. So that was
you
one of
actually
the
weren't even looking
Yeah.
to hook up. You were just
yeah. You didn't like me at all. You just liked my fucking roof. Got it. Okay.
yeah, you like the fact that my sink had water.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's interesting what but you know, it's fine that you can treat that as charity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done a lot of charity in my life.
Not charity of food, but now I feel like you're giving back in a much different way.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. Better.
When was the catalyst for you where you were just like, okay, maybe I should explore this idea of taking care of myself?
Well, I got sober in 2011, end of 2011. And I mean, I had some pretty rock bottom moments. One of them was like waking up to the fucking I was living like with the biggest drug dealer in Venice Beach. And waitressing, and I woke up to like a SWAT team in the house with like eight SWAT guys like on the back of their coats, like an episode of Law and Order with like guns down and everything. And I was like, wait, they didn't see me. I was in the corner like waking up from a disco nap, and like they let me go, thank God. But that was one of the clues that like maybe I wasn't making like the greatest choices.
Sure.
And yeah, it was just a series of just like insane events where I was like, this is not like how I'm like a good girl. What happened, you know? So I got sober in 2011, and then like everything about my life changed. And, you know, I thought that like my life was crazy, so I drank because my life was crazy, but my life was crazy because I was drinking so much, you know? So, and then once I got sober, it just sort of like was like I went to AA, and AA was really like the catalyst for like finding any sort of spiritual life, you know, which is why I think, I mean, AA for sure saved my life. And, you know, I was just saying this on a podcast the other day, but like, I used to be so annoyed by like the older people in AA who would be like, I'm so grateful. I'm a grateful alcoholic. You know, I'd be like, what the fuck are you grateful for? Like, this is a mess. We're all in a room. We can't drink. Like, we're all fucking losers. What are you grateful for?
Right.
And now I realize what they meant is like, had all those like rock bottom moments not happened, I wouldn't have been like forced to evolve. I wouldn't have been forced to find a spiritual connection. I would have just gone on like being a good girl and like doing my little job, you know, like I never would have been forced to like deal with myself. So now it is like, you know, my rock bottom moments are like the things that now I don't have to be ashamed of. Now it's like, oh no, that was actually like just legitimizing my ability to like be of service to other people now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it took me a long time to not feel shame for everything, but now I don't. So it took me 40 years to get there, but hey, it takes what it takes.
Yeah, no, it totally does. And to your point, whenever that moment where it takes what it takes happens, you're so grateful. You're so grateful.
Yeah.
It took 40 years. You would have been grateful if it took 60 years, right? Like it's just,
Yeah. Well, 60 would be really pushing it, but
60 would kind of be like, hey, I'm trying to put this in perspective for our 6-year-old listeners, okay?
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I feel like the moment it happens is always just like, I get it. I get it. I get why it happened the way that it did. And I'm glad that it stopped when it did.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you don't realize that until later down the line. Like, oh, okay, that's why I was a fucking train wreck for so long. Okay, okay, got it. Okay,
Right. But like, how were we supposed to realize that in our 20s?
you're not. You're not. That's why you couldn't pay me enough money to do my 20s over again. Fuck no.
No, I've thought about that. Or even like if I had a time machine to go back and tell myself, I wouldn't have listened to myself. I'd be like,
No,
sure,
never.
Danielle. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to go out. See
Yeah, and also like how boring if you have all your shit together by 20 anyway,
that's a
you
good
need
point.
years to fuck up,
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, I have zero regrets. It was an adventure for sure. Um, and I'm happy to be where I am now,
Yeah.
watching TV all the time with my dog.
Yeah. Peaceful.
Yes, no, you too could have this life with
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like a good intro of TV. What awaits you? Just watch.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I enjoy watching other people's drama because I actually did not like reality TV until I started working on myself because I was like, oh, at least that's like I can watch them.
You're like, yeah, it was like too close.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
I know you're like, oh yeah, I can watch from my pedestal of serenity and peace, happy that it's not me. 90 Day Fiance is a good one if you like trash reality TV show. Woo!
that one will reel you in.
That reels you in.
That will give you so much drama and so much to be distracted from outside in the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to get away from it all.
Mm-hmm.
You need to unplug after a long day. Just put that on.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a lot better. So we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love reality. So you mentioned the idea of like having spirituality. Like, what does that mean for you? Like when you say you're spiritual, what does that look like?
Well, I guess just like the tangible things are I meditate every morning for 15 minutes. I start my day before my meditation. Like the second I wake up, I put on Abraham Hicks and I listen to Abraham Hicks for at least like 30 minutes, like as just to like like starve out insane thoughts that will naturally come if I don't do that. And then I'll do my meditation and I'm honestly, a lot of the things I learned in AA, like I'm constantly praying and doing mantras and just trying to like control the carnival between my ears. So I do a lot of meditating, praying, and then like I really practice just like whenever I'm having like any sort of negative spiral start to happen, I just like immediately reroute it and like mantra my way out of everything. So like, I mean, it is a little bit crazy. I think when you're like learning to control your thoughts and like choose new thoughts, it kind of feels like you're like an insane person at first because like if I feel the anxiety or the crazy thoughts coming, then immediately I'm like, things are happening for me, not to me. Things are happening for me, not to me. Things are happening for me, not to me. Things are happening for me. And it's like, but now I've gotten to the point where it's just so second nature that like I really do feel like I trust the universe with whatever is happening in my life, like no matter how crazy or negative or like insane it appears to be, that it really is happening for my highest good or the highest good. And that like we were saying before, I may not understand why yet, but I will. And that like I think that being spiritual is really just like trusting that the universe supports you and that miracles are always happening and that like things are always happening for you and not to you. And even if you don't understand that you trust that is the truth. And then it's just sort of easier to not live in a constant state of like victimhood, if you feel like just a trust in the universe or God, whatever you want to call it,
I love that.
So yeah, and I think meditation helps a lot too. I mean, I really it took me a long time to be able to do that, and I probably have only been doing it regularly for like 5 years ish. But I can really tell a fucking difference if I don't do it. I mean, it's like, it's really crazy, it just kind of feels like a shower for your brain, and I'm not like a good meditator, like I'm not, but
Right or wrong way to
yeah,
meditate.
yeah, and that's what I tell people because whenever I'm telling, like, a lot of times I'll tell, clients, like, you should try meditating. I mean, like, I know, and they're like, well, I'm not good at it. I'm like, yeah, me neither. But it doesn't matter. Like, it's just the ritual, the practice of sitting down and closing your eyes. And like, I'll do a mantra in my head as I meditate. And that, of course, you're going to have like intrusive thoughts. And like that, the goal is to not be
No.
Buddha. But if you just think of the goal as just like
Yeah.
resetting everything, so that you're just a little bit quieter in your head for the day.
Yeah, and if anything too, I say it's time off your phone. It's time where,
Mhm.
like, even if you
Oh,
are
yeah.
having thoughts and you're not able to kind of get into that like zone that maybe you'd like to be or find that sweet spot,
Yeah.
at least you're still like saying, I'm choosing to separate from the noise right now. I'm choosing
Yeah.
to not be on my phone, to answer these emails, to talk to anybody in my house. I'm just
Mhm.
giving myself a little me time, and that's it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, exactly, like, not being on your phone, that is meditation now. You know what I mean? It's
It
like
is.
you don't even need to close your eyes, just don't look at your phone, you're meditating. So so
Anything outside of looking out looking
yeah,
out is now meditation. Yeah.
I know.
It's kind of true. Or I tell people too, I'm like, just put on a song and listen to the song. Like there it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be so, yeah, to the point of like
Yeah,
you're gonna be the monk in the cave.
yeah, it doesn't have to be so precious.
No, because honestly, I don't think they're doing that either.
Yeah, who knows what they're doing?
I don't know. Well, I think they're making liquor.
Yeah, they're just all wasted, yeah. Just like
You're like, okay. They make
yeah,
yeah, I don't know what kind, but yeah, it's like this liqueur was made by monks. I'm like,
it's
wait,
like,
the ones the
okay.
ones that we're trying to be like, the ones that say they can meditate all day, I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I can meditate all day if I'm blacked out too.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I find that interesting. But yeah, I think that's really important. Do you weave in meditation as part of what you do with the school that you run?
I weave in mantras, so I do like a breath water mantra section between each. There's 3 circuits in my workouts, and between each circuit, we'll do breath water mantra,
Mhm.
which is literally just taking a few deep breaths, drinking a mouthful of water, and then repeating mantras. And I don't even know, I just kind of like randomly started doing it one day because I was just trying to practice it myself. And then it now has turned into like a huge part of my class, and like actually one of the things that I think is the most uh like powerful parts of the class for people, like regardless of like the movement, it's like just learning not to talk shit to yourself, or even just practicing saying things like, I love my body, I love myself. It's like, how many times have you ever said that naturally in your life as a woman? I mean, I'm sure some people do, and great,
Sure.
but like so many of us, it's like,
Yeah.
and I usually say, it's like, I'm an Irish Italian girl from Boston. Like, I'm a hater. Like, I'm like just naturally, like by default, I just talk shit. I'm a hater. Like,
Totally.
so, so to just practice saying things like miracles are happening, or like, I love my body, or like, my body heals quickly. Like, it's so uncomfortable to start saying things like that. And like, I know, and I always am telling like my class, like, the more you think this is stupid and you wish I wasn't doing this in my class right now, and you are kind of like, why did I come to this fucking class? I'm just trying to like work out my ass, and now we're doing mantras. The more you need them, like the more stupid you think this is, the more you need it. Coming from someone who like really needs it. Um, and it's interesting because you can even just see like in the little Hollywood squares in the Zoom class, like who, you know, who at first is like so uncomfortable that I'm saying, okay, like let's do mantras now. And everyone's on mute, so no one's hearing it except for me, or hearing myself. Um, but you can see some people get really uncomfortable, like when you're saying, I love myself, or like, I love my body. Like, and how fucked up is it that feels so uncomfortable for us to
Right.
say, I love my body, and I think honestly, it's like really like an act of rebellion to start saying things like that. And the more you say them, you start to believe them, because the belief is just a thought you think over and over again. And then a belief is what creates your reality. So it's like, I remember one of the reasons I was so hardcore about mantras is like, this must have been, I don't even remember, maybe 7 years ago or something. I was going through like I was sober, but I was really depressed, like in a really bad, bad, bad depression. And maybe, I don't remember, 7-ish years ago. And I just suicidal, just a nightmare. My life was just completely unmanageable. And I got transcranial magnetic stimulation, where they like zap your fucking, but the psychiatrist gifted it to me, because he's like, well, your brain is really here. You just do it for free.
That's
Which
what
is,
you know.
yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm like,
Case studies on me. What is this?
yeah, it's like an expensive treatment. So for him to give it to me was like a really big deal, and a little shocking. You're like, oh wow, okay, thanks a lot, bye. And I was on like the highest dose of Wellbutrin, and still nothing was like, and I was like, well, I'm just going to try all the hippie shit. Like, and I think this is probably around the time I started listening to Abraham Hicks too, because I was like, well, I'm going to just try everything, because otherwise I'm going to fucking kill myself. So we might as well break out all the fucking big guns, you know? And so I wrote on a whiteboard on top of my sink, miracles are happening. And I was like, okay, every time I see the whiteboard, I'm going to repeat miracles are happening like 3 times out loud. And like, I felt like an idiot. There's no fucking miracles happening in my life. I'm like in a teeny studio apartment, want to kill myself, like can't work, like just everything's a mess.
Right.
But I did it every time. But I would see the whiteboard all the time, because the apartment's so fucking small. So I would do it every time. Miracles are happening, miracles are happening, miracles are like, this is actually the most embarrassing part. Like, not even the transcranial magnetic stimulation. Like, this is the real rock bottom that I'm fucking saying these mantras, you know? And I did it for months. And then one day I was like taking a shit in the bathroom, obviously. So I couldn't see the whiteboard. And I out of nowhere, and I just remember it so clearly, just sitting on the toilet, and out of nowhere, I thought to myself, miracles are happening, which was like kind of funny, because I was like taking a shit. So it was like, I'm like, fabulous shit. Yeah. But like, I remember being like, oh my fucking God, I just fucking brainwashed myself. I just did it, because I just had that thought come out of nowhere, and I didn't see the whiteboard. Like, this is
You're
insane.
programmed. Yeah.
I programmed myself. And I remember so specifically being like, oh my fucking God, like it worked. Like, I created a natural thought for myself by just repeating this mantra over and over again. It fucking worked. And so that to me was like a really pivotal moment, because I was like, I can reprogram my brain, and I can choose these thoughts that seem so ridiculous and stupid to me, but like are way better thoughts than I'm going to fucking kill myself, which were the only other thoughts I was having.
Right. Or I hate
And so, yeah, so that's when, so that I started bringing them into my classes, you know, and, you know, I got really into like Joe Dispenza and Abraham Hicks, obviously. And it's all these mantras and affirmations, like, yeah, it's woo woo, but you're also reprogramming your brain, and it does work. And I have like evidence of it, you know, and now my life does feel like miracles upon miracles. And I really do feel like I'm the creator of my life now. And like, I know that, you know, and I spend like a lot of time every week in my classes doing these mantras, and they don't sound stupid to me anymore. You know, they, and like, even if I choose a new mantra, like, I'm like, okay, I need to like work on this, because like, I know I still have like a lot of negative feelings about this or whatever, and I'll like create a mantra around it, and it just fucking helps. And when you choose your thought and you just brainwash yourself with that thought, and it feels stupid when you're doing it, eventually you make that thought more automatic, and that's what a belief is. And then your 3D reality starts to reflect that belief. So, and a lot of women now say that like is the most powerful part of my class for them, is that they just stop talking shit to themselves, and they start actually being like, oh wow, miracles are happening. Like this, like I'm starting to say this to myself. I'm starting to actually trust that things are happening for me, and that shit gets me so fucking hyped, dude. Like even more than like, oh, I lost 20 pounds. Okay, that's great. That's amazing. I love that. But it makes me so happy to hear, yeah, that like, oh, now you like believe in miracles, or now you like are not calling yourself fat every time you look at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
To me, that's like the real, like,
That's the medicine. That's the
yeah,
journey, and that's
yeah,
really what you're teaching. Because even, yes, the fitness is part of it, and losing weight is wonderful if that's your goal, and all these different dynamics when it comes to fitness. But also for me, I'm a former binge eater, and I yo-yoed back and forth my weight for a really long time. I was considered to be, plus size, overweight, whatever you want to call it. So
yeah,
I was the classic person who always was like, when I lose the 20 pounds, then I'll be happy. Then I would
yeah,
lose the 20 pounds or the 30 pounds, the 40 pounds, whatever. And then I didn't know what to do with myself anymore. How do I
yeah,
act now as a now thin person? I don't know.
yeah,
Because I still hate myself, because I'm still
yeah,
programmed to believe I'm fat. I'm still,
yeah,
because the old programs were still running. Even if I did lose the weight, it wouldn't matter because my mindset was so off that I would put the weight back on again anyway.
yeah,
Right. And so
yeah,
part of my journey, when I found that meditation was also a game changer for me,
yeah,
with actually feeling my body. I had body dysmorphia, so I couldn't, like, I look in the
yeah,
mirror and it just wasn't computing.
yeah,
So I felt like meditation helped me like be with my body, and that was also
hmm,
awkward, right? Because I'm like,
hmm,
oh, this thing feels uncomfortable
yeah,
sitting with it.
yeah. Bodies are weird. Bodies
They're,
are
they're
weird.
lumpy and
Yeah,
bumpy and
yeah,
funky. They're strange, right? But I love my body, and that
yeah.
was, and to your point, I started finding affirmations too. And the thing is, though, it's gonna feel awkward, it's gonna feel weird, it's gonna feel false.
It feels insane. It feels insane.
Right.
But like, what's more insane? Like constantly saying how much you hate yourself and like that you're not good enough and that you're like that's actually so much more insane. We're just used to that.
We weren't taught how to befriend ourselves, to even just like
No,
ourselves. Let's
no, I
forget
mean
love.
we're taught to hate ourselves so that we would buy the things that would make us love ourselves more. Women are like the biggest consumers. It's like how much money do they make on us hating ourselves?
Like,
So yeah, so it is, I do think it's like a really like big act of rebellion to start being like, no, actually I love myself, fuck you. you know?
I'm good. I
So
love myself.
yeah, yeah.
I got this. I love
Um,
myself. It's cool.
and I'm not like perfect. I mean, I have to practice it all the time because it's like, in AA, they say like yesterday's shower doesn't keep you clean today, and it's like, that's a constant daily reprieve because I will automatically go back to my like factory settings. So I have to constantly be doing this every day. But it makes a big difference. It makes a huge fucking difference. And it's just like, thinking the thoughts, identifying as a person you want to be, not as the person that you see here right now. It's like practicing the thoughts of the person you want to be, practicing the thoughts of a fit person, practicing the thoughts of a person who loves her body, just practicing those thoughts.
Totally.
And eventually you can brainwash yourself into
You can.
becoming that person.
Yeah. And then what helped me was finding a sense of neutrality in the present. While having the
Hmm.
thoughts of the future
Hmm.
version of myself I desired, I was able to find a way to just be neutral in the present.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not giving any power or
Acceptance.
energy.
Yeah.
Acceptance. And then to your point too, consistency, right? This is
Mhm.
an overnight fix.
Oh, no. No, it's forever.
It's
I
forever.
mean,
Yeah.
but forever's gonna happen anyway. You know what I mean? Time is gonna pass anyway. So you might as well just be hitting all the nails on the head. Why not? Like if you haven't tried the mantras or affirmations, if you haven't tried, it's like, why not?
Right. What
What do
else?
you have to lose?
Nothing.
Yeah, talking about how much like thinking these like self-loathing thoughts, like probably isn't working,
Yeah.
so
So
might as well just give it a go.
yeah. And sometimes we just have to get to that point where we're like, nothing is working. And it's like,
Hmm.
yes, nothing is
Hmm.
working. So
Yeah,
it
the
is
gift
giving
of
you nothing,
desperation.
right?
Hmm.
Having a life of nothing is giving you nothing. So what
Yeah.
if you start programming it with
Hmm.
everything? See what can happen, right?
Yeah.
Be open to it. Love it. Here for it. So, were you teaching fitness like this whole time?
I taught when I got sober, I got really into spinning because it like got me high, you know.
Yeah.
So then I taught spinning for years, and then I was still waitressing and doing stand up. And then maybe like 6 months before quarantine started, I got certified to be a personal trainer and was teaching out of like a small gym. And then when quarantine happened, I was just on the phone with a couple like stand-up comedian girlfriends, and was also like, well, I can't, like, I don't want to get out of shape now. I just started personal training, you know? So I was like, okay, let's just get on Zoom and I'll take us through some exercises. It'll be stupid, whatever. Just three of us, who cares?
Right.
And then I told some other girlfriends, and I ended up having like 25 girls in the first class, and it was so fun. We were so excited because we just like got to talk and like
Right. It was a community.
just hanging out, you know? And so then I just started teaching like every day just for fun. And people started like donating over Venmo, like $5, $20 here and there. And I was like, oh, I'll make a little cash. I'm on unemployment, whatever. And then one of my friends, Laura Bites, lost 40 pounds and from doing my class. And then she went onto Rogan and like talked about it. And then it like turned into a business. So now here I am. And so that to me was really powerful for me, because I realized, well, I'm doing this for free because like I love it and I'm good at it. And then the business kind of came after. And so, and I've always had imposter syndrome my whole life. I mean, I still get it, but I just constantly will remind myself, like, this is what I did for free, for fun, because I liked it and it felt good to be of service. And I'm just naturally was good at it. And so there's no way I can be an imposter, because if you're doing something for free, then that's like what you're supposed to do, you know?
Exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
So
I love that. Finding value in things that you could do for free. Finding when people are kind of stuck, like, I know I want to be doing something, like, what could you talk about all day long and not be exhausted by after? And again, for free, right? Like, let's say you just had a day to go do whatever you love for the day. What would the day look like? And whatever that day looked like likely is connected to some kind of passion, some kind of purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And for me, it was like, I had been doing stand-up for like 8 years, and for me, like having my own class kind of like scratched that itch of like doing stand-up, and teaching. And so it just sort of like felt like a full integration of who I was. And before that, I was like, I wouldn't want people in stand-up to know that I was like training people, and I wouldn't want people I was training to know I did stand-up. It felt like it had to be separate, and then this was really like the melding of that. And I was like, oh, well, this makes sense. Like when I'm bringing all of me into something, then it's like, that's what I'm going to be successful at. Oh, duh,
Well, it makes sense. And people need humor. I mean, what I find, so once I got into meditation, then I became a life coach. I do life coaching and astrology. And pre-pandemic, I was doing a lot of speaking. And I found that my best performances were the ones where I brought in humor, because people like it gets serious. And I don't know why people sometimes think spirituality has to be so serious.
Yeah.
It has to be like so like stiff. Like, I mean, I remember even like I'd have like speaking gigs where they were like, we need your outline. We need it to be scientific. We need it to be this. And I would get all in my head of like, oh, they want me to be serious. And like, I'd be up on stage and I'd read the room and I'm like, I need to tell a joke, or like, I need to like lighten this up, because like that's, I find through laughter, people let their guard down. And when your guard is down, then you're open to like really receive.
Yeah, it's just like more fun,
Fun. And absorbing like whole spiritual jumbo or content.
Yeah.
Like I don't do well in a fitness class where they're just like just saying the moves over and over and giving like an exhale. Like,
no, I mean, it's the worst, and I'm like, I mean, I think my classes are successful because I talk shit, and I'm good for people who need to be distracted when they're working out, because I'm kind of just talking nonstop and talking shit, and then we do like the mantras in between, so it's sort of a blend of like shit talking and spiritual mumbo jumbo, I'm definitely not for everybody, but for the people who like, need to be distracted, it's great, So yeah, I mean, I'm not like a saccharine teacher. I'm not like, oh my God, it's so fun to work out. Like, no, working out fucking sucks.
You always
So like,
you're like, it's gonna suck. But you
yeah.
have to do. I love yours. Just like you have to do it. You have to
Yeah,
take
I
the
mean,
hour.
it's like it's hard working out, and it's also hard being in a body where you feel trapped and like you don't have clothes that fit and like you feel gross. It's like that's also hard. So like you just have to choose the hard that gets you closer to what you want, like I'm not somebody, I'm definitely not like, yay, let's work out. This is so like I'm not that type. Yes, that's not me
They're
at
out
all.
there, especially
They
'cause
are, and God bless them, but that's not me.
no, I don't wake up in the morning for my workout. I mean, every now and then, but here, well, I will if I love the instructor and I know I'm gonna have a good time, right? If I know the
Yeah.
instructor's fun, lively, plays good music's important.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good music,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
I know
yeah.
like I'm gonna be going on a hike and it's gonna be like this new like cool place. But again, it's
Yeah.
because I know I'm gonna be entertained in the process. I know, okay, this
Mhm.
person will play music I like. I know that this mountain will have some kind of view that I will like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did really need like a
Mhm.
trade-off.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna give me?
Yeah, what do I get out of this?
Get out of you, mountain. The mountain's like trees. I don't know. Maybe you want like a bird to like come on your shoulder, like Song of the South over here. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, actually, that would be great. I would love to do that. Have you been able to see like Abraham Hicks live? Like,
I did. I went once live in LA. It was awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Did you
awesome.
try to get called?
No, I didn't.
I'm the same
I
way.
Yeah, I like to observe, But
Yeah,
and I mean, it was awesome seeing it in person, but I feel like it's just as awesome listening to it. I mean,
I agree.
I,
You get,
you know, I
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm such a junkie for it that like I like to. I sort of like the videos in the morning, like because it's just there's no distractions. I feel like there's just like a lot of distraction in person, like too
Yeah.
much happening. I just want to get it like the straight up.
Right, and you wanna, like, pick the theme that you want or, like,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, whereas it's very
Mm-hmm.
predictable. I've gone in LA, and then I went one time in Philly, and it's good. I agree. It's
Yeah.
good. You feel really high, like, when you're tapped in,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, a lot of activity going on, so
I get too distracted. I'm doing too much people watching. Like I just want a message.
yeah, I'm a big people watcher or, like, I'm, like, not paying attention to what Abraham's doing because then I'm, like, thinking about, like, "Well, how would I respond to this person?"
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm, like, a
Mm-hmm.
whole different
Mm-hmm.
way, and then I'm like, "Wait, why am I not doing this?" And then I'm like, "Wait, how much money is she probably making off of this event?"
Oh, 100%. You're like counting the people to see how much she's making on this. And I'm like, okay, well, good for her.
Yeah, yeah, and then I'm like, "Wait, who's my person that I channel?"
Yeah.
Like, leave it. That's like, you're better off just being a monk making alcohol in a cave. I'm like, "Alright, fine, I'll do that." But, love it, love all of this. So you have a program coming up, like a certification?
Yep. So I run an 8-week accountability program. So my business is called School of Thought,
Mhm.
THOT. That hole over there is a pun. It's a joke. Don't take it too seriously. Um, and then I have so you don't have to do the whole program. You can like get my classes on Patreon and get the live links to class on Patreon too. But if you want a little extra, I run an 8-week program called Thought Certification. And you work out with me. Well, I teach live 4 classes a week and they're all on video. And then we track macros. So you get a personalized meal plan. You drink a gallon of water a day. You walk 10,000 steps a day. And then you get put into a little accountability group with 5 other women and an accountability coach. And we hold your hand every day so that you are accountable with your food diary and your workouts and your steps and your water. And I think that's really like the thing that sets apart my program because like the accountability is really what a lot of people's issue is, like
100%.
any fitness program is going to work if you do it. It's just like doing it that's the problem, or you do it really well for 3 weeks and you're like, where's my fucking Victoria's Secret modeling contract? Like, what the fuck? And then you quit because you don't see these drastic changes in 3 weeks. Meanwhile, like it fucking takes time. So the accountability allows for the consistency, which is what changes your body, So the accountability is just, it's awesome. And we've just grown into like a really cool community of women supporting other women. And yeah, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun, and people have made like real friendships from it. And it's cool the way it's grown. It's really cool. And it's weird that you can feel so close to people over cyberspace. I kind of was like, how's this going to work? And honestly, like the accountability it makes sense that not every program would do that because it's a pain in the ass, like on the business end, but it really is what makes it work.
It's true. I mean, I've run online courses and you see the dropout, and it's not
Uh-huh.
because the program's bad or people
No.
don't want to do it, but it's just a natural part, especially online. I mean, in person too,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
drop out. And as a life coach, like accountability is like everything. So
It's everything. It's everything.
it's
It's everything.
it's how you do it. I mean, to master your own accountability it's possible for sure, but what like
Yeah.
but why? If you can have a community and people to do it with, like that's so much better.
Well, yeah, and I think it's also like we're so hyper focused on like being independent and doing everything yourself. And it's like that's actually not how we're designed. We're pack animals. We're like designed to help each other. It doesn't mean you're codependent. It means you're human. It's like we're supposed to like we're so quick to over pathologize everything as like codependence or this like no, we need each other.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do shit together. And especially women with other women, I think it's so uncomfortable for many women to like support other women or be supported by other women. There's so much like ingrained, like so much jealousy and competition that's been ingrained with us, which again is like just programming. And I think it's just really powerful to be with women and practice supporting other women. And like, it's just makes it more fun too. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
The things. Yeah. Do you see yourself ever doing like a big like I see you doing like an all day, like a in person
Like a retreat type thing? Yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking I wanna start doing retreats in Greece, maybe next year. Yeah, I would love to do that. It would be so fun. It's like a week on a Greek island with a bunch of ladies working out and doing all the.
And that would be a cool like way to like everyone that did the accountability program. It's like if you got to X, Y, and Z, it's like you get first pick to be like sign
Mhm.
up for the retreat.
Well, yeah, and there's like so many women who do so many cool things and offer so many cool services in our program now. We have like tarot readers or, but yoga teachers, meditation teachers, sound bath, like all these ladies are
Like attorneys and
100%. Yeah. So it's just it's great networking too, just for everybody, It's like now whenever I'm like, I need something, I'm like, well, let me just check the like lounge in the Discord because like somebody in the program does that. Somebody in the program's a lawyer, somebody in the program's an accountant, somebody in the program does it, And so it's just nice to be able to like have a group of women where you're like, we all got each other.
yeah, that's beautiful. Well, kudos to you for just letting it happen and evolve like in the way that it did, and like what a beautiful testament to where you are personally and then professionally as well. So
Thank you.
we'd love to see it. So what mantra could you leave us with?
I mean, my favorite mantra is miracles are happening.
That
That's my favorite.
feels most fitting.
Yeah, miracles are happening. And it's like when you look for miracles, you find miracles. When you look for fucking bullshit, you find bullshit. So I think it's good to practice seeing miracles and believing that they're happening. And
Miracles
then,
are happening.
celebrations beget celebrations. So yeah, miracles are happening and the universe supports me. Those are my two favorites. The universe supports me is a mantra I use when I meditate, and I just do it in my head over and over again. And that one really, I think that one was even probably before miracles are happening. The universe supports me really gave me a sense of peace and like trust.
Right. Like it's going to be okay. I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing that we want to know in this life, I find, is reassurance and just
Yeah.
it's going to be okay, isn't it? And it's like,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And it's, that things are happening for me, not to me.
Totally. Well, thank you for that. And thanks for taking the space to jam with.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. And we'll put all the things in the show notes so people can stay connected. And I'm
Oh,
excited to see how your travels pan out.
yeah, me too.
We're just like,